This video is going to be more about the warranty process, but let me show you what's going on with the tool, because this may be happening with you and your specific tools. The battery is here. The power goes in through a wire, through the grounding right here to your paddle switch, or your what they call signal switch. And then that regulates the amount of energy that moves down to your motor. Fast, slow, slowing up, going down, and then your turbo, that's wearing this switch out as you use it, because it's not only regulating on and off, it's also high, medium, and low, and all kinds of, fluctuating voltages, and that causes them to wear out. This right here should be super easy to fix. This model is discontinued. So just to show you what's going on, again, fully charged battery. So I don't want to hear nobody say, well, did you try charging your battery? No. All these tools, I had no idea that they needed batteries, right? So I don't know if you can hear that. Yee. There's a lot of stuttering, but even just hitting it low. So as you see, me not moving my fingers just in the first position should give me the slowest amount of air, and instead it's cutting in and out. As you go higher, it goes from like there's a lot of delay in that switch. See how I'm squeezing it on all the way? And it randomly kicks on, randomly kicks off. The trigger is clearly done for. The motor itself, because this thing is so lightly / moderately used, I know it's not that the motor is blown out on it. So if the power is okay, the motor is okay, it's the components that connect them that are the issue. Now I've already taken out all these screws and checked it out, the inside, cleaned it out, cleaned the switch, put a little dielectric grease for the bellow and the actuator, and everything is not broken. All the solders are still connected. That leaves me to believe that the little switch that's right here is done for. So what I'm probably gonna do, because I know Ryobi's gonna tell me to, go rigid myself. So now that we know what's wrong with my device, check out what happens when I try to go through the warranty process. All right, so just to protect my identity real quick, you see right there, it says December 14th, 2022. This is the date that, right? December 2022. This is the date that I bought my blower. I'm trying to go through the Ryobi process for warranty. I just talked to a customer rep, because apparently Home Depot's system only goes back 2 years. So I don't know how people are able to find receipts from 5 years for the 5-year warranties that some tool brands like Milwaukee and Ryobi offer. Now, with that being said, let me just kind of cover up my nonsense right here, bring you over to my other monitor. If we look right here and you go to terms and conditions, right? I just did all of the registration for the kit that includes the Ryobi blower, the battery, and the charger. So when I click start claim, right? Go right here. This is the Axial 600 CFM blower, blah, blah, blah. Click start claim, right? It says that this thing was made in 1999. Brother, I would have been 4 years old when this thing was made. I promise you, Ryobi was not making this 40-volt brushless blower when I was 4 years old. I promise you. So it says it cannot be warranted because it's past the 5-year mark. It would have been 2004. I would have been 9 years old, right? I bought this tool a few years ago, so it should be going by the date that I ordered it, which I did put December 14th. You just saw that. So Ryobi's out here trying to get you to buy tools, but when you try to warranty them, you got to jump through hoops. It says this is out of warranty. Online repairs cannot be made. If you go to, which I was signed in, if I click and it says register product, right? It should show my products. So when I click my products, I'm trying not to show my information here, right? My kit shows up. It is here. So I don't know what's going on with the claim status. It's right. It says start repair today. When I click that, it takes me to my tool just to tell me my tool's magically 30 years old. I had no idea. Right? Click OK. Go to the next. Right? It tells you whether you want the charger, the battery, or the tool itself, which is for the tool. That is wild to me. So now I'm probably going to sit there and fight with somebody on the phone for an hour or two just for them to tell me, yeah, the closest place you can go to, take it to them and we'll see what we can do. I am not driving 40 miles in one direction because you think when you get there, they're going to tell you, all right, let me open it up and see what it is. They're going to say, leave it there and we'll call you when it's ready. So I'm going to drive 40 miles out, 40 miles back just for them to tell me, hey, it can be fixed. It's going to be this much and then you'll have to come get it at X amount of time. That's if Ryobi decides to give them the part or have the part. It could be something as simple as a switch, which if you look right here, I'm going to go on to another tab. It's the 013, which is the one at the bottom, right? 404 013. When I click that, it shows you the diagram. Number 20, which is right here, right? Number 20 is the signal switch. And if you click over here, they go part by part and they tell you what number and what costs what. So if you go down to 20, it's $18 for the signal switch. That's for the variable trigger that you pull and, you know, it does its thing. Let me know, are you buying Ryobi tools or are you skipping over them because of the warranty process? I know that the tools work good, but me personally, I'd rather pay 18 bucks and swap out a switch myself versus spending X amount of money in gas, bringing it over to a center to then have to go back to that center and then back home after picking up the tool. Even if the repair was free, Ryobi's gonna pay $18 for a damn switch. I'm gonna pay whatever it takes to get me there and back twice. Maybe in a month, 2 months, 3 months, whenever the guy's got time for my tool. You know what I'm saying? Ryobi, y'all need to do better with your warranty because rigid is as simple as click, here you go, here's a label, here's this, here's that. And I have seen people talking about how easy the Ryobi thing is where they get you a label, everything's prepaid, they send it off and your tool's good. But clearly I am not having that type of experience with my tool. So I'm going to go ahead and say Rigid's LSA is much better than this. TTI, you need to do better with Ryobi. The tools are good. Again, I have never had to warranty a tool until now, and it should not be this difficult of a process, right? If my battery goes bad, these are $160 a piece. There's no reason for me to have to drive 30, 40, 50 miles, 60 miles, and your location that's closest to you may not even touch a specific type of tool. So maybe they do regular stuff, but not outdoor power equipment. Maybe they don't do snow stuff. Maybe they don't do regular hardware stuff. So you need to see with the store locator, the service locator, see what is covered by what location before you waste your time driving all that time for them to say, we don't touch these. So Ryobi, you need to do better. Please, I like your stuff. Don't get me wrong. And when it works, it works. But when it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. So without giving out my information, I obviously cropped it down. It says, thank you for the assistance, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, it says you got to take it to a service center. You may be responsible for a refundable deposit. It means you have to pay extra and they give it back to you. But I am under warranty. So it says customers outside of warranty period to validate it, blah, blah, blah. Give proof of everything. We recommend you go to the service center, call them before just to make sure everything's, you know, on the up and up, right? It says you may have to ship it if you don't have one in driving distance, and the customer is responsible. If I do have to send it to them, I'm responsible for paying to get it to them. But if it's under warranty, they pay to replace it or to send it back, right? Blah, 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 thank you, whatever. Now let me show you what happens when you don't live too close to one. And I know you might be thinking it's a small amount, but check this out. Now without showing too much, that's the closest one. 32.46. That's an estimation. On my phone, however, I'm going to back out here just so I can kind of give you some space. On my phone, that same spot I just showed you is 40 miles away. That's about an hour drive, right? Now, it's an hour going and it's an hour coming back. Assuming Ryobi gives me any issues with shipping back, I may have to drive out again and come back. 40-80, 40-80. All right, 80 plus 80 is 160 miles that I potentially have to drive just to get a blower fixed. Because a lot of the places do gas only, so I have to find a place that does no gas. And that's a tricky situation. So, do I pay for 160 miles worth of gas, or do I order the switch for $18 or $17.99 from Homelight, which is the people that make the switches and parts for Ryobi, and just change it myself? What would you do in this situation? Obviously, Ryobi's going to pick up the tab for not only the switch, but also paying the technician to do it. But would you trust your tool sitting in a shop where somebody could drop it, kick it, scratch it, crack it, and then claim that it was you that did it? I don't like that liability personally. So it's an up in the air thing. I like the way Rigid does it, where Rigid only makes you pay for the packaging, but to ship it to themselves, that's covered. To ship it back, that's covered. Again, I've had replacements for the only time that Rigid has taken care of me, so I'm not sure how they would treat my tool if they were to fix it and give it back. But a lot of people are saying that their tools are getting damaged or scratched up, or the housing or shrouds get cracked because people are, leaving them wherever, and they're putting them under little canopies outside, because obviously the 0-point turn mowers are giant, but it's thousands of dollars that they're potentially leaving in the rain or leaving open to the elements, mice chewing at wires. You never know, right? So Ryobi, I know that the person that was helping me was super nice, but the amount of backup that they have as far as people trying to warranty tools, the backup of parts availability, so they have people months waiting for their tools, gearboxes, all the recalls for their mowers. It's a freaking mess. Ryobi, what you should be doing is, if I prove to you that something's wrong through a video, you should automatically warranty that tool and say, we're going to send you a replacement. If it's something that is small, like, oh, there's a little crack or a little chip, no. But I have plenty of proof that my tool is actively defective. There should be no need for a technician to tell me that, just for them to change a little switch or, authorize a warranty. And then I drove all of that just for them to still just mail me a warranted, replacement blower. So, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm going to leave you with this. This number 20 is the signal switch, or the variable switch. That's for the 013, which is the discontinued model. The next current model, because I have the 600 CFM, they don't make those no more. This is the 650 CFM. Looks very, very similar, because it pretty much is. Now, this one uses the same 760-777-001. They use the same signal switch. So even though the blower got a little bit faster, they're using the same parts. And what's happening, and this may be happening to you, is the voltage goes through and it has to pass through that switch. This switch is getting cooked as you change those voltages. So please be careful, because when that goes out, the voltage variability is not going to be getting properly through the contacts to your motor. You understand right here, right? It's the motor. So something's going on here. This motor doesn't know what to do. So it's going to ramp up and kick off and spin out, and then it's going to cut out because it doesn't know what message it's receiving. So before you look here and say my tool is busted, it may just be the message that it's receiving. It could be something here, or one of the solders that go back to the wiring harness, or the wiring hub with the solders back here that go to your power source. All right, so be careful. Look for any broken wires. Look for any splitting, any melting. You may have a good tool, it just may need a small part. So I may look into just getting that replacement and just doing it myself, and just doing the standard shipping. It's going to be $30.78 no matter what. So it's either 30 something bucks for gas, or 30 something bucks to get the piece and do it myself. Work smart.